Hey everyone, I'm just recording this quick video as I've been asked on multiple occasions how it is that I go ahead and scrape data from databases that aren't necessarily too straightforward to scrape. And so this is a pretty standard workflow for my other lead generation guys out there. But if you're more like an entry-level sales or maybe you're a first-time founder and you want to know how you can scrape kind of intent data from different databases, then I'm sure you can get some value out of this. And so what happens is, oftentimes you're going to go, maybe you want to scrape the list of Fortune 500 companies, and you'll have all these company names, right? But that's the only information that you're going to get. And so eventually you want to reach out to people that work at these companies, but all you got was the company name. And so I'm going to show you how you can go from company name to the company domain. And once you have the domain, then you can go and, you know, enrich that information to go and find contact information. Okay, so let's get started. And so in this case, I went ahead and went on. I'm looking for the top tech companies in the world, right? And so here we can see we have a list of top tech companies. I don't know kind of what metrics they're using to determine this, but let's go ahead and say this is the list that we want to scrape. And I recognize a few companies on here. So what I'm using is a tool called Bardeen. Now, I probably made my first video about Bardeen a year ago, but I'm still using them till date. What they allow you to do is be a little more custom with the scraping that you're doing, whereas Instant Data Scraper, which you might have heard of, will just give you more of a standardized, and Instant Data Scraper is also absolutely amazing. It's just more of a one-size-fits-all solution. Whereas Bardeen, you can really be creative with the automations or, in this case, kind of scraping tools that you build. And so, yeah, first step for you would be to get the Bardeen Chrome extension. Once you've gotten that, you want to click, you want to go on the page that you want to scrape, and then you'll go ahead and click on the Bardeen extension, create automation. We'll start with a blank canvas here. And, the actions that we want to do is we want to scrape, right? And so we want to scrape the data on the active tab, and we'll create a new scraper template. Here you'll see focus tabs. So, you can see kind of the tabs that I've got going on. And typically the first tab that you see is the one that you've got in the background. And so we'll go ahead and click it. Now, is this a single page or a list? It's a list, so we'll click that. Then we can name our scraper, right? And so what you're able to do with Bardeen is you're able to save your scraper for later use. So if you want to come back to this list, once you've scraped 1,000 records, you want to come back and scrape another 1,000, then you're able to do that by saving the list. Help us locate the list. So as you can see, it's really good in guiding you through what you have to do. And so what it wants is us to pick two elements from this list. And so we'll go ahead and click both of these titles. Now Bardeen's kind of managed to depict what the list looks like. Select the pagination type for this website. And so pagination is kind of how you go from one page to the next. As we can see, there's a click pagination. It's not an infinite scroll. Please select the click pagination button. And so this is, the button that we want the scraper to click on in order to go and scrape the next pages, right? And now we can start building out our list. And so we're going to be selecting the elements that we want to pull. And so, we'll pull this. This is a company name. We'll pull this, which looks like it's the industry. And then we'll get their location. And might as well get the company description while we're at it. And the employee count. And so as you can see, you're able to really pick and choose kind of what fields you want to pull. And you don't really have that option with Instant Data Scraper. So in this case, you can really build a custom scraping template. All right, so we'll go ahead and save that. Now you can see this, what looks to be like a node or an action, and there's pretty much a scraper that's been built. And for the sake of example, I'm only going to go ahead and pull, say, 50 records. So 50 records to extract. I'm not going to pick any number of pages to extract, and I'm not going to create any custom delay in seconds. You want to do this for websites that have maybe some sort of, they're able to detect if you're scraping their website, so you want to kind of randomize the custom delay, but in this case, we're not going to use it. And I've managed to scrape, thousands and thousands of records without adding any custom delay. If you leave all three of these blank, these scrapers are just going to keep going. Now, great, we've managed to find a way to kind of get this data, and now we want to extrapolate it, and we want to add it into a Google Sheets, right? And so we'll click a new action, this plus button. We'll click add over here, and we'll scroll down and we'll click add rows to Google Sheet. And we'll create a new Google Sheet with name top tech companies builtin.com. And that's the name of the website. And so what's going to happen is the scraper is going to scrape this data. And then the next step is that we are going to be creating a Google Sheet with this name. We're not going to include a tab. We don't want to include tab. Then you want to use the commands from this scrape data on active tab. So what you're telling it basically is just to follow the scraper that you built originally. To tab, we're going to leave it blank. Done. And so now you have a pretty good high-level overview of what's happening. We have a scraper that's going to scrape the data on active tab, and then we're going to add rows to the Google Sheet. Awesome. So we'll create done, name your automation, builtin.com scraper, save. And then we'll go ahead and click it. And let's go ahead and look at what's happening in the background. The scraper is running. Now, since we only clicked 2, then, so see how quick that was, by the way. Then it's only going to scrape 2 pages. And then, we're asked to go ahead and view our data. And here you have it. So super straightforward, and I'm sure you can see how valuable this can be when you're trying to scrape thousands of rows or thousands of records. And so, yeah, we pulled this data in seconds. Now we're able to leverage that same scraper again. Cool. So we have this information, company names. And now you're probably thinking, okay, how do I get, contact information once I have these company names? And or at least what I do is I'll go ahead and export this. So I'll download it as a CSV. And you can actually find the company domains with a script directly on Google Sheets. But for the sake of example, I'm going to show you how I would do this within Clay. And so we'll create a table, import companies, and we'll go ahead and import this in Clay, continue, complete import. This is a pretty standard procedure when you are trying to pull data from company names. Cool. So now I've got a list of all these company names. And what I'm going to do is I want to get the domains, right? And so there's the free way to do this, which is via what's called a Clearbit extension. So they also have a Chrome extension, and they have basically a free tool that allows you to find the domains from the company names. And we'll just tell Clay, like, this is the column where you'll find the company names, and we'll run this. And so we're not going to get all the domains. Actually, these are pretty big companies, so maybe we'll get all of them. But if we're missing some domains, I'll also show you how you can go about this. Okay, cool. So, as you can see, we've got most domains here. We're missing a few. And so what I do for those that are missing is I'll go and add another enrichment. And I'll use this Google enrichment. As you can see, there's a few that you can use. Find domain from company name. And so again, I'll go and look for this company name. But since this is not free and it's actually using credits, I want to go ahead and set a formula where I only want to run this doesn't exist. And so now I'm only running this if the domain doesn't actually exist. So this looks good. And then what we want from this is the domain, and we'll run it. So this should only run if, exactly, so run condition not met. So as you can see, it's not running for all the rows because we're actually using credits here, so we want to be smart about how we're using them. And we're going to try to find the domains using this paid one. And so we did. Cool. So that's how I go about finding domains from company names. And that's also how I go and find company names from different databases. Now, just if you want to make this a little cleaner, you can go ahead and concatenate this and this. And here you have your final domain. Right? So now there you have it. That's how you get the domains. And if you want to get the contact information at these companies, then that's for another video. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to show you how I go about it. Alrighty, thanks. Bye.